my dear students, welcome back. So, we have already started with the chapter called Units and Measurements. And you have seen different units, correct? Measurement, how to measure the physical quantities. Then, we came across the about the measurement of length, mass, correct? Now, it's time to measure the time. How to measure the time? Can we measure the time? Yes, we are measuring, correct? Now we'll say, what do you say? Okay. Earlier, actually, to measure any time interval, we need a clock, correct? Atomic standard of time is based on the cesium clock. What the time we see is based on the cesium clock. Okay, so atomic standard of time is based on the periodic vibration of the cesium clock. That is, for 1 second, 9192631770. That means, I think, some 919 crores. So many number of times. Vibration of the atoms, that is cesium atom. Cesium is a radioactive element, correct? So many number of times the atom should vibrate. When the atoms vibrate, the transition takes place from higher level to the lower level, as you have learnt in your chemistry, you know it, correct? When the transitions takes place from higher level to the lower level, radiation comes out. How many radiations comes for 1 second? So many number of radiations. Understood? If so many radiation comes, it is nothing but 1 second. So, in very, very hyper fine level, the transition takes place. Next, this is nothing but atomic standard of time. We will be speaking in terms of atomic standard of time. So, we call this cesium clock as atomic clock. What do we call it as? Atomic clock. So, in atomic clock, 1 second is equal to these many number of times vibration of the radiations, vibration of the atoms. Then, the watch, what you wear it, or what you see, the clock, is based on what? Is it this same because of vibration? No, here it's because of vibration itself, but vibration of balance wheel. We will see because of the vibration of the balance wheel. If you open, you can see the wheels. Because of the vibration of the balance wheels, you can see you can get the timings. Understood? So it is which regulates the ordinary wristwatch or the watch. The next, what we are going to speak about is errors. The next important, this is a small concept about the time. Next is about the error. What do you mean by error? Are you a person with no errors done? No. Each one of us have done one or another error. But we should try to reduce the errors. Correct? Then what do you mean by error? Here we are not going to speak about the errors, what we have done. But here what the error means. Error. It is uncertainty in the measurement. Uncertainty in measurements. Error, it is nothing but uncertainty in the measurements. See, when you measure, we cannot say actually it is this itself. See, someone's watch, it is 2:15. Some others watch, it is 2:13. Some other, so there will be a small errors. We cannot say this exact. So we'll consider one of the time as the standard time. Correct? Indian standard time we will measure. We'll see. Okay. So there will be a certain errors. That is uncertainty in the measurements is nothing but error. Continuous changing. 6.1, 6.2, 6.1, 6.3, 6.1, 6.2, 6.1, 6.3 changes. So when you come to our college, when you start performing the experiments, you will understand. Small changes. So once you take the readings, I think you have already done in your high school. Pendulum experiment. Correct? We will take a pendulum and we will hang it. Okay, pendulum is there. Fine. We will take this bob and hold it this side. Leave it. It starts oscillating. What do you say? What is your work is count the number of oscillation and the time period. For 10 oscillation, what is the time taken? So, I'll start from here. Come. First oscillation. Time is 1.52 seconds. 2. 1.53 seconds. 3. It's difficult. So what I will do, for 10 seconds, what is the time taken? We will check out. Okay. I will start my stopwatch. Start. First oscillation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So many. For 10 oscillation, what is the time taken? I will check it out. Okay, over. Once I did, for 10 oscillations, I got it as 9.15 seconds. Okay. Next. Again, I will take the same pendulum, same bob, and again, once again, I will do the experiment. Again, for 10 oscillation, what is the time taken? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, calculate, measure. See the stopwatch? See. Now the time taken is 9.2 seconds. See, this is nothing but error. Uncertainty in the measurement. Small changes in the measurement. Earlier it was 9.15. Now it is 9.2. Exact it is not same. There is a small changes. It's okay. There occurs changes because of, I'll help you for that. So this changes is nothing but uncertainty in the measurement. So I will call it as error. The small error occurred in between these two is 0.5. Correct? So error means uncertainty in the measurement. Next, what do you mean by accuracy? How close you are to the measured value, or how close your measured value is true to the true value. True value means accuracy. How close your measured value is to the true value. How close it is. For example, actually the time taken to complete one oscillation is 2 seconds it should be. But here it is very different. How close you are to that, it depends upon that. That is nothing but accuracy. How accurate value, what is the accurate value you got? What is the accurate time now? So what we everyone go through our cell phones nowadays, correct? So that it shows accurate value. Because most of us are having a cell phone. Our cell phone, we keep it in an automatic way, update. So since it is automatically updated, what we say, in each and everyone's cell phone, we are having almost same timings. Now if it is 9:30, in your friend's cell phone also it will be 9:30 itself. But if you go through this wristwatch, from one person's wristwatch to timings to the another person's wristwatch timing, it is little bit different. But we can say how accurate the time is. Actually, the time is 9:30, but your wristwatch shows 9:28. That is so much accurate to the true value. Now true value is 9:30. Measured value is 9:28. Understood? How close your measured value is to the true value is nothing but accuracy. How much close or how close is nothing but accuracy. So this is about the accuracy. Next, precision. What do you mean by precision? Do you know something about precision? Precision. Can you say something about precision? Can you help me? To what limit the quantity is measured? To what limit the quantity is measured? See, that is nothing but least measurement, least count of the instrument. Least count means, see, we are having scales. You are having scales with you, correct? And in your scale, it's in terms of centimeters. See here, some lines are there, 0. Some many 10 lines are there, then 1. Still 10 lines, 2. Then 10 lines, 3, correct? So when we say here 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 1. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, 2. Correct? This is the way you measure. How much small value you can measure? That is 0.1. What do you say? The smallest measurement that can be done using the ordinary scale, what we have thus, is 0.1. And few of your scales, I think it is 0.05. Still more smaller lines you may have in it. So that is nothing but precision. Or I can say it is the least count of the instrument. Least count means the smallest value you can measure using that instrument, or I will call what? Least count of instrument. Measurement. Error means uncertainty in the measurement. Then we came across the concept called accuracy. How close the measured value, to the true value. Then we came across the precision. To what limit the quantity is measured, or the least count of the instrument. Then, now I want to speak about the different types of error. There are 2 types of errors. Error is classified into 2 types. Do you know that? Mistakes. In general, if I say mistakes, there are different types of mistakes. Am I right? Same way, error, there are 2 types of error. What are those? Systematic error and random error. systematic error and random error. What do you mean by systematic error and what do you mean by random error? By seeing the word systematic itself, what you can say? What do you mean by systematic error? The error, these are the errors that tend to be in one particular direction, either positive or negative. Systematic way, in one particular direction. How this, you know what is systematic scientific education, systematic way you are studying it. Systematic means in one particular direction, correct? So, in the same way, systematic error means it is nothing but these are those errors that tend to be in one direction. Errors tends to be in one particular direction, either positive or negative. Whereas random error, they are those errors which occur irregularly due to the unpredictable fluctuations. Random errors are nothing but what? They are errors which occur irregularly. These are errors occurring irregularly. Due to unpredictable changes or fluctuations. Unpredictable fluctuations. What do you mean by unpredictable fluctuations? Unpredictable fluctuations means you cannot predict. This will take place or this happens. You cannot predict. You cannot say. That is nothing but unpredictable fluctuation, changes. So, errors occurring irregularly due to the unpredictable fluctuations is nothing but random error. Now it is 1.2. After few seconds, within few seconds it will be 1.3. The small variations. You can see the small unpredictable fluctuations are irregular due to when our power supply is not fine. Your bulb will be fluctuating. Sometimes it will be dim, sometimes it will be bright, sometimes it will be very, very dim, sometimes it will be very, very bright. It is nothing but unpredictable fluctuation in the power supply. So, because such a error is nothing but random. Then you don't write, in exam you don't write about the bulb and all. So, random error is nothing but errors occurring irregularly due to the unpredictable fluctuations. What are the examples we say? It is only to understand the concept. Okay. Then, now what I want to speak about is due to the experimental conditions, why these unpredictable fluctuations may take? Maybe because of the temperature or voltage supply. If the voltage supply is not proper, only then your bulb will fluctuate, the power in the bulb will fluctuate, correct? So, or if sometimes temperature, because of the temperature also sometimes the readings in some of the equipments will be different. So, these are nothing but this unpredictable fluctuation takes place. So, this is about the two types of error. There are two types, systematic error and random error. So, the next concept what we are moving for is systematic error is again classified into three types. What it is? First one, can you help me? I cannot say systematic error is classified into three types, but the sources of systematic error I can say. That is better, I think. Instead of saying classified, I'll say the systematic source of the systematic error is first one. I said it is in one particular direction. Then what is the source? Sources of systematic error. Sources of systematic error. What are the sources of systematic error? What might be the sources? First one, instrumental error. There might be mistake or error in the instrument itself what you are using. Correct, no? We are always perfect. What do you say? Always, it's a mistake of the instrument. So the first systematic error is source is instrumental error. You will understand about these errors when you start performing the experiment in our lab. You will come to the college very soon, okay? After coming to the college, we will start practicals. While performing those practicals, you will understand everything about the errors very, very, very understandably. Now it is just like you are imagining, correct? If you do the experiment, you will understand it very, very easily. Second one, imperfection in experimental techniques. Imperfection in experimental techniques or procedure. We are teaching you some of the techniques to perform the experiments in lab, but you will not be a perfect in that, correct? So if you are imperfect in a performing, imperfect means small variation, some changes will be there. So imperfection in the experimental procedure may give you some of the error called systematic error. One more. Personal error. Personal error. Small personal error might be there. Suppose you are having specs. The eyesight or eye level of that person will not be same as eye level of us. Correct? Ours. Or sometimes about listening. The timings may vary. That is nothing but personal error. So, the sources of systematic error is instrumental error, imperfection in the experimental procedures, or because of the personal error. Sometimes when we perform the experiment, for example, if we are holding a camera, a few of you are having the problem of hands start shaking if you concentrate. Such type of errors that will give you some errors. They are nothing but personal error. So instrumental error are the errors that arise due to the imperfect design or calibration of measuring instrument. Zero error in the instrument may be wrong. So this is nothing but instrumental error. By seeing this name itself, you will understand it is an error due to the instruments. While constructing the instruments itself, there might have been some errors. Mistakes might have been taken place. So such an error is called instrumental error. Then imperfection in the experimental procedure. About that, if we say, the procedure what we followed might not be a perfect one. Some small changes might have taken place. Then also there will be some error. That is nothing but imperfection in systematic error. Such a imperfection in the experimental procedure may lead you for the error. Then personal error, what it is, I said to you, it may be because of the eyesight or some other problems. Individual problems it is. Next, the next concept what I want to speak about is random error. The second one we saw is random error. Now can you help me for the random error? Random error are those errors which are irregular to the unpredictable fluctuations like temperature, voltage, etc. we said. So to avoid this random error, many number of times we have to perform the experiment. After performing the experiment, if we take the mean value and all, we can reduce this error. We can reduce these random errors by performing or repeating the experiments many number of times. Then we spoke about the least count. Don't forget, it is the smallest measurement that we can measure. Then the next concept what we want to speak about is, can we reduce this systematic error? Yes, we can reduce this systematic error by improving the purchasing or getting a good quality maintained instruments. Okay. Then second, what was the mistake? Okay, by following a perfect procedure. Then we can reduce this error, personal error, by making some solution, getting some solution for the personal problems like high eyesight, etc. The next we are going to speak about is absolute error. Different types of errors we are going to speak here. That is, I think in mathematics you have learnt it. I said we can reduce this random error by performing the experiments for many number of times. Correct? So, okay, we are performing experiments for many number of times. Okay, fine. One example we will take. What example we can go for? Simple pendulum experiment. You know it, correct? Okay. I said 3 times we will perform the experiment. Fine. Is that okay? That is fine, no? Fine. First trial. Trial number 1. I am performing the experiment using the simple pendulum. For 10 oscillation, what is the time taken? Start the stopwatch, start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. What is the time taken for 10 oscillation? How much will take? Okay, 10 seconds. Okay, first trial we got 10 seconds. Second trial, I got it as 10.1. Third trial, we got it as 10.2. Fourth trial, 10. Again I got 10. Okay, fifth trial, we got it as 10.1. Enough. We'll do 5 times we will perform the experiment. Fine. Now after performing this, there is some error. See, it is not same everywhere. Different changes. So we have to see first absolute error. What is this absolute error? What we have to do is, we will add this. We will take the mean value. How to take the mean value? Add all these divided by 5. If there are 5 trials, 5. If there are 3 trials, divide by 3. If there are 2 trials, divide by 2. Just like how you calculate for your subjects. You have 6 subjects. You had 6 subjects. You will have 6 subjects. Correct? Okay. You had 6 subjects in your 10th. Fine. Okay. In 6 subjects, out of 625, you have scored some marks. Fine. How to see the mean value of your marks? In one subject, you have 25. Another subject, okay, it is not 625. I am speaking of something else. Okay, 25 marks students never be here, correct? Fine. One, we'll count from 90s, okay. One subject 90, another subject 95, 94, 93, 92. How to take the mean value? Add all those, divide by 6 will give you the